Hi everyone, Tori here today with the Scrap Your Scraps video. This one is number 31, and I know there's a bunch of you who are really excited because it's been a little bit of a while since I've done a Scrap Your Scraps, but I'm really excited about this one. So I felt like my scrap bin was overflowing, so I decided to make a page. I grabbed this little tiny heart punch from my stash and my bin of scraps, and I went to it and punched out a bajillion little hearts. So this is one of the ones that's a little finicky, but I love the way that it turned out. So if you have the patience to punch out all those little hearts or all those little shapes and glue them down, I promise it will be totally worth it. So all I did was stick on a movie. I don't even remember what movie I was watching, but I went to town and I am so happy. It's so fun. So I punched out like 100 of those little hearts from all my different scraps without any rhyme or reason. I took a brown craft piece of paper and I freehand drew a balloon shape because I knew that I wanted it to be a balloon. And then I, one by one, glued those little scraps down inside the balloon shape. And I'm not going to make you watch all of it, I promise, but just a little bit while I'm talking for a second, and then I'll skip forward to when the balloon is done. But basically, I just wanted to say that I cut them all out, and I just did as many as I had patience for, and I actually ended up cutting up enough. I have this little like wood bowl almost that I got when I was in Uganda, and I just punched out enough to fill that whole bin, and I wasn't really worried about which ones I punched out or what, but I just kind of punched them all out and stuck them down. And you could do this with any shape punch. You could do this with any shape final end, like I did a balloon shape, but you could do any shape that you wanted. I kind of picked a balloon because in the photo, my brother, sister, and mom are all holding up a balloon. So I felt like it would be kind of fun to do a balloon shaped image with scraps. And the reason they're all holding up balloons is because it was a welcome home party for Courtney, who had just got home from Kenya for a few months. It was a goodbye party for my brother, who was leaving for England in a couple weeks, and it was a happy birthday party for my mom, who was turning 60. It was kind of like a combination of all three of those. We rented out some space at a local restaurant and invited friends and people from all three of those categories, like for my mom, my brother, and my sister. And a lot of our friends like know all three of us, so it worked well. And I kind of thought it would be fun to do a balloon. So I'm just going to skip ahead here so you guys don't have to watch me glue down every single one. And when I was done, it looked like this, and I'm really happy. It's like a really cute, complete balloon. All I needed to do was add kind of like the string on my balloon, so I grabbed some ribbon from my stash to do that, and I kind of wanted it to not just go down straight. I wanted it to be a little curved, so I'm going to play around with that for a little while I try to figure it out. But I think in the end I just go straight down. I can't even remember what I did. I wanted it to be curved, kind of fun, but it just didn't look right, so I don't know. You'll see me play with that for a little while. But this was a great way to use up some of my ribbon stash because I feel like I have so much ribbon. I think we probably all do, and we just need to like use it more. And I thought before I figure out where to curve the ribbon, I wanted to figure out where to put my photos. So you can see the photo there, and I'm going to lay it off to the side of the balloon, and I also wanted to add a little doily beneath it just to add a little something extra, a little layer. So I decided that maybe what would be fun is, instead of curving the ribbon, to have kind of like a bow at the top of the ribbon where it meets with the balloon. So I cut off some of the extra ribbon, and I'm just kind of freehanding making a bow here. It's not the perfect bow, but I love it. It's just cute enough. And once I figured out where I wanted it and made it work, I'm going to glue that on top of the bow there, and I'm gonna trim off the edges just to make it a little better. It's not perfect, but better, just so that it looks a little nicer at the edges of the balloon. I kind of wanted it to be like a fishtail almost, or yeah, just something a little prettier there. And I like the way that that bow just adds the cutest little detail. I don't end up doing a ton of embellishing on this layout just because I feel like there's so much going on. And you'll probably notice that in most of my Scrap Your Scraps layouts, there's not a ton of embellishing. And that's mostly because there's so much going on with all the scraps that I don't want to take away from the photo too much. And I feel like in this one, there's a lot of scraps, but the photo is still the center of attention. So yeah, here I am trying to make that curve again and just not figuring out what I want. And then that's where I decided to just glue it straight down after all that fiddling. But you know, sometimes the idea you have doesn't work, and that's okay. Sometimes it looks better not like that. So I actually really enjoy the way that it looks now where it's straight down. So I'm going to just glue that there and add my photo to the side. And I was trying to debate which side to put it on, but I end up just going back to what my original thought in my mind had been, a giant balloon with a photo on the side. I wanted to just add a little more layers in there, but I didn't want anything too distracting. So in the Felicity Jane Next Stop kit was this like vellum pocket, and it had kind of like textured polka dots on it. So I decided to just cut that and use that as a layer underneath my photo. And the nice thing about it being white is it's kind of like white on top of white with the white vellum and the white doily. And again, it really doesn't distract from the photo. I scrapbook for the photos, like I want the photo to be the center of attention, so I don't want anything to draw the attention away from it. I want the balloon to be like this giant emphasis or element that kind of like ties in the whole story of what's going on here, and I feel like it kind of does, as you can see the balloons in the photos of my mom, my brother, and my sister. It was a fun party. They were being a little goofy in this photo, but I kind of love it. That's just my family, right? Like, I feel like the photos that are a little goofy and candid are the best ones anyways. Mom's like, hide the 60. She didn't want people to know that she was turning 60, but all these balloons said 60 on them. I finished that off by gluing it down, and I added a little bit of washi tape to it as well. I just thought it would add another textural element there, so I grabbed these black pieces and added them to the corner. And then I also grabbed this really light pink washi tape and just stuck that down underneath the layers as well, just to add a little bit more dimension. And at this point, I'm trying to figure out what kind of other embellishments I want to add. I had all of these branding strips, and I thought it would be kind of fun to add this one because it had a really cute statement on it to the bottom there. So it said, "Live for the journey, not for the destination." And I kind of felt like that fit for all three of these themes of this party. So like it was a welcome home, going away, and a happy birthday party for 60. And I felt like live for the journey, not the destination worked for all three of those. So it kind of is like my subtitle. I do add a title here, so it's not the title, but it's kind of like a subtitle slash the journaling a little bit. And then I wanted to just add something a little behind that just so that it didn't feel a little out of place. So I grabbed a couple pieces of washi tape and stuck that underneath it too. And it's the same washi tape that I used above. So I figured that it would bring it down and make the whole thing look like cohesive, like it went together. And using the same element like a washi tape in multiple places on the layout definitely makes it look more cohesive because it ties your eye around almost in a circle, I guess, in this layout so that you can see the different elements. And this is when I was trying to figure out what to do for the title. I struggled trying to figure out a title that would fit for all three of these. And then I saw this chipboard. I think this is crepe paper chipboard, and there was this giant phrase that said moments. And I thought it would be kind of fun to add that as the title because I feel like all three of these are like an important moment in their life, like a moment for my sister coming home from Kenya, a moment in my brother moving to a new country to begin teaching, this big moment in my mom's life of turning 60 and stuff. So I felt like moments was a good one that would kind of fit for all three of these events. It's kind of random to have a birthday party, a going away party, and a welcome home party all at one time, but it made more sense than trying to do 3 different parties, especially when it would be the same people attending almost all of them. So, yeah. Um, and the colorfulness of that title actually worked well with all the scraps. Kind of brought that same kind of feeling and vibe down to that area as well. And this is when I was trying to figure out where to do my journaling. There's not a lot of space left on the layout, but I wanted to add my journaling somewhere that would make sense and wouldn't distract from the layout or from what's going on. So I ended up writing a little bit of journaling on top of the word moments there, just with a black fine tip pen. And it doesn't distract from what's going on there. I wanted it to be almost like a subtle background type thing that you wouldn't notice right from the beginning when you looked at the layout, but then as you spent more time taking a look at the layout, then you would notice that journaling that I had added. So yeah, it's kind of fun. And then didn't have enough space, so I also added a little bit of journaling like on top of the washi tape line there that I had created. And I'm really happy with the way that that looks overall. So I kind of am really enjoying lately doing my journaling in unique ways, like not just in straight lines, but around something, around a frame, around the edges, around my title, like this. I just feel like it's like a super fun way to add journaling. Well, I think I'm pretty much done the layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick Scrap Your Scraps video, and I hope that it inspired you. Oh, I guess I added one more thing. That's never done. And I hope that you guys will like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really like my Scrap Your Scraps videos, I have more. Love you guys. Bye.